What if I told you that the Boston Celtics are secretly orchestrating one of the most electrifying trades of the decade? A move so audacious and perfectly calculated that it could transform them from playoff contenders into unstoppable championship juggernauts overnight. And it involves a 25-year-old scoring machine that most fans aren't even talking about yet. The NBA rumor mill has been churning with whispers, speculation, and insider reports that suggest something massive is brewing in Boston. While casual fans focus on free agency signings and obvious roster moves, league insiders are buzzing about a potential blockbuster acquisition that could completely reshape the Eastern Conference power structure. Anfernee Simons, the explosive Portland Trail Blazers guard who can drop 30 points on any given night, has emerged as Boston's primary trade target. And this isn't just another routine roster upgrade. This represents the kind of franchise-altering move that separates championship teams from pretenders. The Celtics aren't looking for role players or depth pieces. They're hunting for game-changing talent that can elevate their ceiling from very good to historically dominant. Simons embodies exactly the type of dynamic scorer who can take over playoff games when defenses tighten and possessions become precious. The timing couldn't be more perfect for both franchises involved. Portland appears ready to embrace a full rebuild around their younger core, while Boston possesses the veteran leadership and championship infrastructure that could maximize Simons' tremendous potential. When elite, young talent meets championship-caliber systems, magic happens. And that's exactly what has Celtics insiders so optimistic about this potential acquisition. The excitement surrounding this rumored move stems from more than just basketball fit and talent evaluation. It represents organizational ambition and the willingness to take calculated risks that championship teams must embrace. Safe, conservative roster construction rarely produces championships, but bold moves that add elite talent often become the difference between good seasons and legendary ones. Anfernee Simons represents the modern NBA's evolution toward explosive offensive versatility, combining elite three-point shooting with devastating driving ability and clutch G mentality that can't be taught or developed. His scoring profile reads like a championship team's dream acquisition. A 25-year-old guard who has already proven he can carry offensive loads while maintaining efficiency that elite teams require. Last season's performance metrics tell the story of a player entering his prime with ascending trajectory rather than established ceiling. Simons averaged over 22 points per game while shooting nearly 40% from three-point range on high-volume attempts. Exactly the type of production that becomes magnified during playoff basketball when defenses focus on stopping primary scorers. The beauty of Simons' offensive skill set lies in its complementary nature with Boston's existing core. Rather than requiring the ball in his hands constantly, he excels at creating shots within team offensive systems while also possessing the individual scoring ability to take over games when situations demand it. This dual threat capability makes him incredibly valuable for championship-caliber teams. His age profile also aligns perfectly with Boston's championship window. At 25, Simons is entering his peak performance years while maintaining the upside potential that comes with continued development and system familiarity. Teams that acquire players during this optimal age range often see immediate production improvements as talent meets opportunity. The playoff implications of adding Simons become even more intriguing when considering how his skill set addresses Boston's specific needs. Elite shooting, shot creation ability, and clutch performance represent exactly the attributes that determine playoff series outcomes when games slow down and defensive intensity increases dramatically. Boston's pursuit of Anfernee Simons reflects sophisticated organizational thinking that extends beyond simple talent acquisition into areas of championship construction strategy and competitive positioning. The Celtics understand that championship windows require maximization through bold moves rather than conservative roster management that prioritizes flexibility over excellence. League insiders have consistently praised Boston's front office for their ability to identify undervalued talent and execute trades that appear risky initially but prove brilliant in retrospect. The Simons situation represents another example of this organizational philosophy, acquiring elite talent before market value fully reflects actual production capability. The timing of this potential trade also demonstrates strategic awareness of Portland's rebuilding timeline and organizational priorities. Teams in transition often present opportunities for shrewd organizations to acquire talent at below-market rates because selling franchises prioritize future assets over immediate competitive impact. Boston's championship infrastructure provides the perfect environment for Simons to reach his ceiling potential. Playing alongside established stars within proven systems and for championship-experienced coaching staff could unlock performance levels that haven't been fully realized during his Portland tenure. The competitive landscape analysis also favors this move because Eastern Conference contenders have made significant improvements, creating urgency around roster enhancement that goes beyond normal team-building timelines. Standing still in this environment often means falling behind relative to improving competitors. Integrating Anfernee Simons into Boston's offensive system could create the type of multi-layered scoring attack that championship teams require to sustain excellence throughout long playoff runs. His ability to function as both primary and secondary scorer provides tactical flexibility that becomes invaluable during postseason basketball. The spacing implications of adding elite three-point shooting to Boston's already potent offensive attack could transform their offensive ceiling from very good to historically elite. When teams possess multiple players capable of hitting contested three-pointers, it creates defensive problems that are nearly impossible to solve consistently. Simons' shot creation ability also addresses one of the few remaining questions about Boston's offensive completeness. Having multiple players who can generate quality shots during late-game situations provides insurance against defensive schemes designed to neutralize primary offensive options. The pace and style considerations also favor this potential acquisition because Simons thrives in up-tempo offensive systems that emphasize ball movement and player movement. Boston's offensive philosophy aligns perfectly with his skill set and preferred playing style. His clutch performance history suggests readiness for the pressure moments that define championship pursuits. Players who have demonstrated ability to perform in high-stakes situations often see those abilities amplified when playing for championship-contending teams with experienced veteran leadership. Championship teams are rarely built through single transactions, but they often feature one key acquisition that transforms potential into reality. Anfernee Simons could represent that transformative addition for Boston, the final piece that elevates them from playoff contender to championship favorite. The roster construction benefits extend beyond individual talent into areas of depth, versatility, and matchup advantages that playoff basketball demands. Having multiple players capable of explosive offensive performances provides options that opposing coaches struggle to game plan against effectively. The psychological impact on both Boston's existing players and Eastern Conference competitors cannot be understated. Bold moves that add elite talent often create momentum and confidence that translates into improved performance across entire rosters. His defensive potential also deserves consideration because players often elevate their defensive intensity when playing for championship-contending teams with established defensive cultures. The combination of motivation and coaching could unlock improvements that haven't been fully realized previously. The financial implications favor this move because acquiring Simons now, before potential contract extensions or increased market demand, could provide tremendous value relative to future acquisition costs for comparable talent. If Boston successfully acquires Anfernee Simons, it could trigger competitive responses throughout the Eastern Conference as teams scramble to match their upgraded talent level. Championship pursuits often become arms races where one significant move forces competitors to make their own bold decisions. The Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers, and other Eastern Conference contenders would face increased pressure to enhance their own rosters or risk falling behind in the championship race. This domino effect could reshape the entire conference landscape for years to come. Boston's positioning as championship favorites would become significantly stronger, potentially shifting betting markets and media narratives in ways that create additional psychological advantages during competitive moments. The long-term implications extend beyond single-season championship pursuit into sustained excellence that could define the franchise for the next several years. Elite talent acquisitions often become foundational pieces for multiple championship runs. His presence could also accelerate the development of younger Boston players who would benefit from playing alongside another elite scorer and learning from his work ethic and professional approach to skill development. The convergence of Portland's rebuilding timeline, Boston's championship window, and Simons' career trajectory creates the type of perfect storm that produces franchise-altering trades. These opportunities rarely present themselves, and successful organizations recognize them when they appear. Boston's asset collection and trade flexibility position them perfectly to compete for Simons' services without compromising their competitive foundation or future flexibility. This balance between aggression and sustainability represents optimal roster construction strategy. The league-wide competitive environment also creates urgency because multiple teams possess championship aspirations, meaning that waiting or hesitating often results in missing opportunities that don't resurface. Championship windows require decisive action when elite talent becomes available. Simons' individual motivation to compete for championships aligns with Boston's organizational objectives, creating mutual interest that facilitates successful negotiations and long-term retention possibilities. The media attention and fan excitement generated by this type of blockbuster acquisition could also provide intangible benefits that enhance home court advantage and create playoff atmosphere that championship teams need. As trade rumors continue swirling and insider reports suggest increasing momentum toward a potential deal, the vision of Anfernee Simons in a Boston Celtics uniform becomes more tantalizing. This isn't just about adding another talented player. It's about completing a championship puzzle that could dominate the NBA for years. The organizational commitment to excellence that this move would represent sends clear messages to existing players, potential future acquisitions, and Eastern Conference competitors about Boston's championship ambitions and willingness to make bold moves necessary for sustained success. His integration into Boston's championship culture and proven system could unlock performance levels that establish new benchmarks for individual excellence within team success frameworks. The excitement building around this potential acquisition reflects broader NBA trends toward aggressive roster construction and the increasing importance of maximizing championship windows through decisive talent acquisition. Success in this pursuit could define Boston's competitive trajectory and establish them as the Eastern Conference's premier championship contender for the foreseeable future. The Anfernee Simons trade rumors represent more than typical NBA speculation. They embody the championship ambition and strategic boldness that separate legendary franchises from those that consistently fall short of their ultimate objectives. The pieces are aligning, the opportunity is presenting itself, and Boston appears ready to make the type of franchise-defining move that creates championship legacies and leaves fans talking for decades about the moment everything changed. This is exactly the kind of move that has me absolutely fired up about what could be coming next. So, tell me, do you think the Celtics are about to pull off the trade of the century with Anfernee Simons? Or are we getting way too hyped about rumors that might never materialize? And here's what I really want to know. If this trade actually happens, does it immediately make Boston the team to beat in the East, or are there still pieces missing from their championship puzzle? Hit me with your hottest takes in the comments, because this potential blockbuster has all the ingredients to completely flip the NBA landscape on its head.